Just give me a moment. Let
Hello,
me.
ARC family, and welcome to the ARC journey. We're here today with Dr. Marcus John. Dr. John is the pastor of the Grange Church of God, and close to the Punxsutawney area, or town, and he has done some incredible things already at his congregation. And I just wanted for him to be able to share and you to hear how God is using how he's using their congregation, the things that they are doing to in their next step for Jesus. So I think one of the first things that you did when you got there was you challenged the congregation to begin a time of intentional Bible reading. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, one of the things that I was convinced deep in my spirit was to encourage people to read the word, because all of them are happy reading the daily bread and some of the devotionals done by some of the big time giants in the ministry. They're good, but they are just, I would say they're just the starters, or maybe like some sweets at the end of the meal. But the real meal is actually the word of God. So, uh, that's what I've been doing back home before I could move to the United States. So when I came in, the first thing that I did was, have an intentional Bible reading plan for our church folks to follow through every day. So I've just made it in a sheet of paper with boxes where they can check them and they finish reading it. So uh, when I took up the first year, we just finished New Testament reading twice, and this year we've started off with the New Testament for the whole year with the book of Acts and the Paul's letters twice. And we also are doing the Old Testament. We will finish up to Second Chronicles. So it's just that, we want all of us to be on the same page reading the word. Even if they don't understand, it's perfectly fine. But the habit of reading the word will make a world of difference. And I've seen that happen. So a lot of people talk about it when we gather together, or some occasions when they have questions, they come to me and check on me. And some of the questions which they ask me, I won't have an answer. So we will try to explore it together. So that's picking up a good pace, and I'm happy about it.
That's amazing. It's a simple and easy step, first step. Um, so you
It is,
also,
yes.
you were sharing with me that you've done something focused on 100 days with some leadership folks.
Yeah,
Can you talk about that?
yes. Sure. This is the little book that we followed. This one I picked up when I came to
Looks
the conference
familiar.
the last year. I think that's probably your book.
Yeah.
I am a grabber of books, so I kind of looked at it and grabbed this up. And while I was at the mission trip at the Dominican, I just took this book because there was a long flight and also I had time to read. So I started reading it, and I was praying about it. It is a very good idea, but then it has a lot of work to do. You need to do some preliminary work, and as you begin the process, you have to do some more work, and you have to continue to do a lot of work. And by God's grace, we have been able to get across. This is just to help us understand, with a handful of leaders from the church, to be with me as a leader, and along with them, try to explore where our church is at this point in time of the life of church. So the whole idea is, our church has a pastoral committee. Our church also has a set of council members. But beyond that, I just made a public announcement in the church for anyone who's interested to be part of this 100 Days to a Healthier Church event. And then I had few people sign up, and someone gave up in the last minute. Someone wanted to be a part of it in the last minute. All fine. So we kind of had about 6 people in all. With me, it'll be 6 people, 5 plus me. We are 6 of us, and we explored week after week, because the book talks about a whole process that we get to intentionally meet once every 2 weeks, and we set aside a time. We go back to a different setup than the church, a very different ambience, and then we spend the whole day. We begin like 9 in the morning and we finish at 3. So the first 2 weeks are based on how is church and what's church all about. it's all about Jesus and nothing about us. So we just worked on the scriptures as a foundational principle. And then the following weeks, we started to work on where our church is at this point. The author is so wonderful. He's just put it in such a way that, we come across that, and we sort of used our butcher papers to draw pictures and figure out where the church is. And the main crux would be, he's talking about the soil of the church, and how when the soil is set, the church would grow really well. It'll be able to produce, fruits 30, 60, and 100. So now we have almost come to today is our 68th day. So what happens is, the leaders get to do a daily devotional based on the book. So I've given them a whole big format like this. I've printed the whole stuff out for them, week after week, that they would take a look at it and see what happens and then follow it. And they have to, honestly, all the leaders must follow the devotionals. And I also once in a while, text them to find out if they're the same page as I am, and we cross check each other. This little group of leaders who are not part of the pastoral committee or part of the board, some of them are, but then we have been moving very intentionally on a closer relationship. So we've found out that we all have passion to see our church do very well. So we are working towards that. And as we start working on that, we are able to see people open up and then come up with great ideas and projects for the days to come. So God willing, we're planning on 2 projects for the community, which would let people know that we are existing, and we are willing to, connect people to Christ, and as we get connected to Christ. So we're working on that. So it's pretty nice. We've not finished with the 100 days yet. So we are, as I said, today is the 68th day of our 100 Days to Healthier Church. We still have. And another interesting part of this book is they have this author has set aside topics for every Sunday. So it's not just the leaders who meet, the congregation is also together will move with us on a plane, especially on Sunday mornings, with the topics that we have to be discussing. So week after week, I preach on the topics that he's given and see how well it could connect to what our church is about. And also this year, I also have this system in our church that I give a theme for the whole year. So this year, the theme for our church is Grow as Disciples. So I've already worked out all the weeks from January to December on what topics I have to speak, and I've got my text and passages on all of that. When I took this book and I said, oh, I didn't realize that I was going to do this book. But before that, I've already planned whatever I have to do for the whole year. But when I looked back, it was absolutely so prophetic that the text that I've had for my whole theme for the year and the book context matched very well. So I knew pretty much that God was in control, and I was happy to take it up, because initially when I read the book and I saw the the hard work behind it, I was a little skeptical. I said, will it work, or am I going to mess myself up? So with a lot of skepticism, but with a lot of prayer, I decided to take it up, and absolutely by God's grace, it's going fine.
I think that's absolutely wonderful. And when you shared this with me, I couldn't wait to pass it on, because here's the reality, is that God has called us to make disciples, and all of us do. Yep. But the reality is that I don't think that we have an intentional plan in place in our ministries. And a lot, if it's not you, then you're not the person. If you already have this, then you're not the person I'm talking to. But I think a lot of people don't have an intentional plan. And how do we do this to help people, challenge them, get in front of them, to be able to say, what's your next step with Jesus? And how do we help you take that next step? And this is a way that you are doing it with Grange, and an opportunity to be able to say, walk this journey with me. We'll learn together. And then let's talk about what our next step with Jesus is as we continue to grow and become like him. And this is reproducible. And you have to understand
Yeah.
your context and what will work
Yeah.
in your community. And so thank you so much
Yes.
for sharing, Dr. John.
Yeah.
And my prayer before
Yeah.
we started, and my prayer now is that
Yeah.
this will inspire all of us on to continue on to do good works. So thank you
Yeah.
so much for what you're doing. Thank you for sharing it. And God bless you in your ministry and the good people at Grange. And as we walk
Yeah.
and move together in discipleship. Thank you, brother.
Yes.
All
Thank you
right,
so
all
much,
of
and
you,
it's my pleasure to be a part.
thank you, sir. Keep shining, and we'll
Yeah.
talk to you next week.
Yeah.
All right, bye-bye.